looking at graph of hyperbolas, or hyperbole, which have the form y equals a over x, when a, of course, is not equal to 0. So our basic hyperbola is y equals 1 over x. Now you can see immediately, and you would have investigated this, that when x is 0, there is no value for the graph. When we work out what this is going to be, so if x is 1, we'll get y as 1. When x is a half, 1 divided by half is the same as 1 times 2, that would be 2. So you can see that as x gets really, really small, y gets very large. And as x gets very large, up to say 10, I've got y is 1 over 10. Y gets very small. So our hyperbola is shaped like that. And over in the negative, it's mirror imaged, and we get the same shape there. So our hyperbola has two asymptotes. Our basic hyperbola has those asymptotes at x equals 0. I'm just drawing it slightly next to it so you can see it. And at y equals 0. It will approach x equals 0 and y equals 0, but never meet them. As a changes in value, when a is greater than 1, the hyperbola will be further out from the asymptotes. So you'll sort of get something like that happening. And if a is between 0 and 1, it will be pushed closer in. If we have a is negative, then we reflect the graph. And it doesn't actually matter if you consider that we're reflecting it in the x or the y axis, because we'll get the same thing. So, graphing a hyperbola, make a table of values, plot your points. You'd want to make a lot of your table of values in here where x is quite close to 0, so do the half and the quarter, because otherwise you won't lose these. When you're sketching it, it's important to label both parts of the line, because it doesn't join up. So this is y equals 1 over x, and this is also y equals 1 over x. So when you're sketching any graph, you of course show intercepts if they are there, and if they're not, show at least one point. It's usually easiest to show the point where x is 1 and where x is negative 1. So if you're asked to sketch, for example, y equals negative 3 over x, then, when x is 1, negative 3 over 1 means that we'll go through 1, negative 3. When x is negative 1, negative 3 over negative 1 means we'll go through negative 1, 3. And from there, really, you just remember that because we've got quite a larger number on top, that will stay further out, and draw mirror image and label. So it's quite easy to sketch them. If we have translations, then of course you can show intercepts.